this week we are going to be creating these really lovely watercolor flamingos. You might have seen on the Facebook and Instagram that my grandma actually did it. So this just shows that Fridays is something that's available for like everyone of all ages and abilities to do. I'm making sure that the crafts and art pieces that we're doing are something that everyone should be able to do, no matter, your level of experience with art. Because really everyone is an artist, whether that be just, using paint or by sketching something, just putting pen to paper or paint or marker. Anything really can be art, and we're all artists here. So today what you're gonna need is so I'm using mixed media paper, but again, you can use any kind of blank paper. It just might be a little bit soggy because of the watercolors. And then you're going to want some water for your watercolors, obviously. And then you're going to want, I have my palette right here, some watercolor paints. The two colors that you're gonna be using a lot are gonna be pink and blue. So if you don't have a whole palette, that's totally fine. Just make sure you have some pink and some blue because flamingos are pink and water is blue. And then what else you're gonna need are some paint brushes. I'm using pretty much only 3. I use this kind of medium-sized flat top one. It's blue. You can see that I've obviously painted some water with it before. And then I like using kind of this small little cat tongue one for the clouds. And then I like using a really small kind of detailed brush here. Again, it's pink. You can see I've made some flamingos with it before. So those are pretty much the 3 brushes. If you don't have those exact ones, it's totally fine. Just find some brushes that you can make some feathers with, you can do some water with, you can do some clouds with. You can even try using all the same brush. I know I've done that many times for my own projects. So yeah, without further ado. So I have my paper out front here. I am currently using this as kind of a vessel to hold it down so that when I go to paint, it will stay put. And so I'm gonna take my flat top brush here, and I'm gonna get some water and drag it off. And I'm gonna go into some blue for our water. I'm gonna start with this one right here. And what I'm gonna do is start by painting some nice long strokes along the bottom here for some water. And you can place your horizon line pretty much anywhere you like. I'm gonna get some more water. Go back into the blue here. I think I'm gonna build it up a little bit higher so our flamingos have a nice place to stand. And I've got it's kind of a nice light blue that we've got going here. I'm gonna add a little bit more. Remember, the more water you have, the more kind of diluted your color is gonna be. So the less water you use, the more pigment you're gonna see. And I've got this really lovely, just kind of base here. So now I'm gonna start using more blues, even maybe some purples and some aqua greens, and I'm just gonna add some more dimension to my water. So again, I'm gonna dip and drag, and I'm gonna use the blue right beside the one that I was just using. It's a little bit darker, and I'm just gonna go in and paint along. For the water, I would definitely suggest using more water than paint, because then it kind of, using water for water makes sense. I think I'm gonna go for an even darker blue now. So I'm getting my water again, and I'm gonna go into this blue right here. I'm gonna go back into some blue. And something that I kind of like to do, I know this is crazy, but I have my brush here, and I like to kind of go like this, along there, add some lines. Because we know water isn't really only one color, especially in real life. I think I'm gonna be crazy and try using this kind of, what is this color? What do you guys think that is? I think it's kind of like a periwinkle color, like, but a little bit darker than periwinkle. I'm gonna tap into that and I'm gonna just add some into my water. I'm gonna go back in with a little bit of this interesting blue here. Pick it up. I'm gonna go more along the bottom because the deeper we go, the darker it's gonna be. That's at least my theory. And our goal here is not to make it look realistic, because it doesn't have to, but just to have some fun with this and enjoy the time painting together. Okay, I personally am happy with my water here. So we have this whole white kind of expanse here. And what I would like to do is actually kind of make a sky. But, okay, I don't know how to explain this. You know how sometimes you just don't know how to explain things? I am going to dip and drag, and I'm gonna go into this really kind of soft powdery blue here. And I'm just gonna build it up a little bit along the bottom between the sky and the sea. I'm gonna bring that up, and I'm just gonna blend it up a little bit into the white. I personally, when I do this activity, I tend to just bring it up a little bit and not paint the whole sky a really brilliant blue. It just makes it a little bit easier. Yeah, so I kind of like that. I see I've got some crazy little geysers going here. That's what I interpret them as, at least. If that happens to you, you're welcome to try and cover them up if you'd like. I think maybe I'm going to take a little bit of that powder blue there and just go in. And I think I am happy with that sky, generally. I like it being a little bit streaky, because it almost makes me think that there's clouds far away out on the ocean or on the sea, wherever my flamingos are. I'm gonna dip and drag one more time, go back to my kind of dark blue, right there, and I'm just gonna touch this up a little bit. Yeah, I'm happy with that there. Okay, so I'm gonna let that dry for a couple minutes. I'll just rinse off my brush. And what I'm gonna do is just kind of start planning out where I want my flamingos to go. So we're actually gonna do the body of our flamingo before we, attach any. I'll show you. We do the body first, and then we attach the legs, the beak, and the eye. So what I'm going to do is, I've got my pink brush here. I'm gonna look at these pinks here. I think I might start with this one. We're gonna start with our flamingos, and what I like to think about it is that for the body, we're going to create an eye. Not I the letter, but I the body part. So how I'm gonna do it is I'm gonna start with a frowny face on top and a smiley face on the bottom. You can see it's a little bit wet, so I'm gonna get more paint, a bit more. And in this case, we're gonna wanna use more paint than water so that we get a really nice color. So once you have that outline of the body, what you can do is start filling it in. And my flamingo, I think, is going to face that way. So I'm going to make sure his feathers are fanning out in the back there. So I'm going to get some more pink here. Just keep adding to the body of my flamingo. And then I'm going to start taking some darker pinks to really build up his feathers. I'm looking at this one right here. It's a nice pink. It's like a magenta-y, but kind of more of a hot pink. So I have this nice body here, and I think it's time for me to add another flamingo. Yeah, I'm gonna add another flamingo. So the next one I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna have it go more over here. So I'm going to plan that out a little bit. We'll do the same thing. I don't think I want this guy to be facing the same direction this time. Let's think about actually our flamingos, sorry. We have this one, this guy, he's a nice kind of medium-sized flamingo. I think I'm gonna make one who's a little bit bigger this time. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna start planning out my next flamingo. Let's make a nice eye. Okay, that's a nice eye. And I think I want him to face this direction. Yeah, so I'm gonna do the same thing, go for that kind of darker pink so that we can get some dimension into my flamingo. So I've got the two bodies of these standing flamingos, and the next thing that I'm gonna do is actually create one that's gonna be flying in the air. I think flamingos fly. I'm pretty sure they do. How would they migrate? Or do they migrate? So I'm gonna do the exact same thing, but it's gonna be up here this time, suspended in the air, and this flamingo is going to be a little bit, what's the word, like smaller, because he's sailing off into the distance. We could say he's flying away into the sunset, except this is a sunny day. So I'm gonna do the same thing, make another eye, but just a small one this time. A little baby flamingo. Well, he's not baby, but. And I think I'm gonna make this flamingo more of an orangey pink. This is, again, totally up to you guys. You do not have to do this. You could do the same thing with adding these darker pinks, or you could even add some orange to either of these guys. But what I'm gonna do is add some orange to my flying pink. So I'm gonna look, which one should I go with? I think I'm gonna select this orange here and just take a little bit of it. Got some on my brush. Now we got like a nice little orangey pink flamingo. I might go back, add a little bit more pink, or I could even add a different shade of pink. I might try one of these ones here. Let me get some water. I'm gonna try this pink here. Go for something completely new. I'm happy with that flamingo body there. So now, this is your chance to do any touch-ups you would like. I think I might add some more feathers to this guy here. So you can take this time here to the next thing I'm gonna do, I think, is I'm gonna make this flamingo have his wing fanning out. I think that would be fabulous. So I'm gonna take some pink here, and I'm just gonna have his wing, because he's facing this way. I'm gonna just take it out a little bit. I'm gonna add some new pinks to that. Let's go with this one. I'm gonna take that same pink that I just added to the wing. I think it was that one. Yeah, I don't know. If it's not, that's fine. And then I'm just gonna add it along the bottom. Now, something I want you all to think about. Do your flamingos have names? What relationships are they to each other? Is this a family of flamingos and the baby is having its flight lesson? I don't know, never thought of that before. So I'm gonna add the wings to this flamingo because obviously he's flying. He can't really fly without some wings. I'm gonna get some pink. Go in here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a frowny face for the first wing. It's gonna go out. I like to go like that. So that's kind of the structure for its first wing. Gotta grab some water. I'm gonna add some darker pink to that and then some orange eventually. So we've got the first flying wing there, and then I'm gonna take the darker pink because it's going away from us. And I'm just gonna create kind of a just like that. That's the other wing. I'm gonna come back onto this one. So now we have two wings on our flying flamingo. I'm gonna add the necks to these two while that one dries. So the neck, how I like to say it, is that the neck is gonna kind of emulate a question mark shape. So I'm gonna go for this darker pink that we've been using. And I'm gonna make a lovely question mark. We can go back over it.
Kind of a question mark. Yeah, this might look a little bit like a swan at first, but because it's pink, I say it's a flamingo.
And there's the neck on our first one. And then we'll do the same to this guy because he's facing this way. His neck will be going the opposite direction. So I'm gonna grab my pink. So yeah, there we go. We've got another, well, this one's a backwards question mark. This one is a forwards question mark. So I've got the neck on this guy. I've got a neck on this one. So the last thing I need to do is give this flamingo a neck. So what I'm gonna do, and it's not exactly a question mark this time. What this one is going to be, I'm getting my water. is I'm going to take, I believe I've been using this pink for this flying flamingo. It's just going to be stretched out because he or she or them is just flying out into the world, loving life. Go back in with a little bit of orange, I think, this time. I know, crazy. So now we've pretty much finished our flamingos. Oh no, oh, that's probably, oh, it's on my hand. My painting's on my hand, that's okay. I'm going to touch this up, take this time to, again, touch up your flamingos, do anything you would like with them. So I'm gonna rinse off my brushes and my water here. I will clean them after. And you can see, this is a really important thing for all my artists at home. Make sure you do not leave your brushes sitting in the water. Let them sit. I just have half a paper towel here. Let them sit in that, on that, not in the water. We do not leave them in the water because that can separate the glue, and we don't like that. So we have beautiful water, gorgeous sky, and 3 lovely flamingos. If you're using a bigger paper, mine is kind of small here. It's a nice little size. If you're using a bigger one, you are totally welcome to add any more flamingos, but what I'm gonna do next is make some clouds. So I'm gonna take, I have this kind of cat's tongue here, you know, because it looks like a cat's tongue. I actually don't like cats very much. And I'm gonna take some water, dip and drag, and I'm gonna go into this really lovely powder blue. And I'm gonna do some circular motion. We all know what some clouds look like. So I'm just gonna I'm happy with the 3 clouds. You know what? I'm gonna do one over here. That's just peeking out. So now I'm gonna go back over and, what should I do? I think I'm gonna actually be totally wild here and go for kind of more of an aqua green and put that at the bottom of my clouds because they are over the sea. So I have that aqua green on my cat's tongue. And then I'm gonna just kind of go into the bottom. I really like to do that to my clouds. I'm not sure why. I couldn't tell you why. I just like how it looks. I'm going to take my black marker. I got this in a art subscription box and it is made in Japan and I am not going to attempt to pronounce the name. I'm going to take my black pen or my marker. Mine's a fine tip, so if you have something that's fine tip, I would highly suggest you use that because it's going to make your job a whole lot easier. And I'm going to start with this one over here. So we're going to do his beak first, and what I like to think about it is as you're going to draw kind of half a banana for his beak. So I'll show you that here. It's gonna curve in a little bit and go like that. And then I like to do kind of a ballet slipper when I think about filling it in. So I'm just gonna fill it in a little bit. And then I'm gonna draw a line from the point just a little bit up into his or her. I think this is Dan, so his. And then I'm going to create a small eye And I'm going to do that again for this one over here. This is Fran. And then we'll create our legs. And we can do the same thing for our flying flamingo. That's Mango. And he's gonna have a nice beak. And I usually leave it up to you to make an eye on this one. You don't have to. I did one for that one. Anyways, I'm gonna do my legs next on these flamingos. So flamingos, if you look up a picture of flamingo, most of the time what you will see is that they stand on one leg. So that's what I'm gonna do for Fran here. So I'm gonna first draw one leg so that she's rooted in the water. And then I'm gonna draw one coming out on an angle and then back in. And I'll give her a foot. And I typically don't draw the feet in this, like on those legs, because she's standing in the water, so you wouldn't really be able to see that foot. And then you can either make your other flamingos stand on one leg as well. I think for this one, I'm gonna just have Dan be rooted in the water. And then for this flying flamingo up here, obviously his legs, who is this? Mango? Don't know what Mango's gender is, but Mango's legs are not going to be just straight down, because that wouldn't be quite realistic. So for Mango, I'm gonna make their legs swinging out behind. I'm just gonna give them some feet like that. And there you have it. We have some really lovely watercolor flamingos here. Don't forget to sign your work at the end, so that's what I'm gonna do right now. Oh. You can always put the year if you'd like to. I usually do, so I'll do that right here. So those are your watercolor flamingos. So if you guys have painted your own and you have followed along with this, live, as we've done it here, I would really love for you to send me a picture of your flamingos once you've done them. I would love to see them. I would love to know what their names are. I'd love to know where they are in the world, whether that be on Lake Superior or in, I have no idea, New Zealand? Don't quote me on that.